right. Welcome. Anybody have any good spring break stories that they'd like to share with the group while we're waiting for a couple of people to show up? Anybody at all? Nope. All right.
You had the best spring break, Ben.
Oh, yeah. It was pretty good. I mean, went to Kenya with my daughter, and we had a lot of fun over there. It's beautiful, and where we were at was outside of Nairobi. There's this place called Kajabi that is higher elevation, and so everybody there that lives there was freezing at 75 degrees. And I was just like, yes, this is wonderful. I can walk around in my sweater. I'm so happy. So beautiful, beautiful. So yeah, we saw some animals, did some safariing, and just had a great old time. So it was great. First time in Africa, but hopefully not the last. Anybody else have anything before we get started? I do have some things that I would like to bring up while we're here. And part of it is with some of the recent events that are happening in the world, a lot of school shootings and things that have been in the news. And I just would love to hear from our parents as far as our safety at the BCA. We've talked about this a lot over the years. Our program is really set up to be family friendly. Obviously, the campus on the Bend and Lowell campuses are open. We invite parents to come and stay, but with that does present problems as well. And there is that idea of safety. The school across the street, our parent district, has invested a lot of money gating their whole school. And, it presents some frustrations when it comes to being safe, because you can't even get into the school when you are supposed to be there. But at the same time, the possibilities are really terrible, and sacrificing some of that freedom and ease does make sense. So I guess I don't have any answers right now, but we are going to be discussing here with our BCA leadership team. And I was just curious what thoughts were out there, since we're all friends here, and you have a vested interest in this topic. So
I'm sorry I'm late. What topic are you talking about?
State testing.
Okay.
No, it's about security at the BCA in light of some recent events. We have the parent center. We have parents coming onto campus. We have students moving freely around, and it does present some challenges as far as safety, security, and just curious what parents' thoughts were on that, and any possible solutions from your perspective would be great. Or we could talk about a different topic. That's fine.
Just briefly wanted to mention there was not a link to this meeting in the email this week.
Oh,
And so it took me a little bit to figure out, and I had to go to the portal and go through that way. So I don't know if anybody else might be coming in a little late because of that.
okay. Well, we have, like I said, tightened up security at the BC.
So
Uh,
are we talking security for the high school students? Because like
Well,
most K through 8, aren't they parents mostly on campus?
not necessarily.
No.
And not all of these incidences happen at the high school level as well. I mean, it's just really sad to think about. But yeah, it is.
Are you at liberty to tell us what the incidents are?
Oh no, just things in the news. It was nothing. I'm not
Oh,
starting
okay.
rumors.
I'm
There's
so
nothing.
I'm like,
nothing.
what has been happening on campus?
No, nothing. Everybody's happy.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, Carl also didn't get the link. All right. Well, if
I have
anybody,
a comment. I can't figure out how to open or raise my hand. I don't know.
yes, just jump in there.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sarah.
I put it in the chat, but I'll elaborate it a little bit too. Has BCA ever thought about hiring either like a security guard or, like hiring a security team to be there when, the kids are at campus? Because that would definitely deter pretty much anybody who was thinking about coming in. If there was security right at the front door, that would almost guarantee nothing would ever happen.
Yeah, that would be a little bit easier on the Bend campus where there is a front door. The Lowell campus is just a series of buildings. The other thing is that, I mean, just based off of some past events, it isn't always the creepy person that shouldn't be there that is causing the problems,
Right.
So
Yeah.
know
So
that a
if you have
security guard
security present
sure,
and something started to happen, you would have a response within, a minute instead of within like 14, 15 minutes of calling the police and getting them there. Because
Yeah.
like I'm not sure where Lowell is in relation to your police department, but like Bend is pretty far away from our police department. Now I
Yeah.
know they always have cruisers out and around, but obviously if there was like an active shooter situation or something like that, it probably would take them a number of minutes to get there. But
Yeah. And that's definitely a good thought.
We
also,
just
do
need to
you?
train. I
Oh,
was
go
just gonna
ahead.
say
Tracy.
train the administrators to be security.
Now, hey, we went from security to armed security. Uh-oh. Now we're, I don't know that that's what we were, well, maybe that's what it would take. Do
you know if people are allowed to conceal carry at the school? I've never seen signs one way or the other.
Yeah, I would say that that it depends on which campus you're talking about. It does make a difference because Ben does meet in a church, and there has been times where we have just church members coming in. Is that true? Does that happen? So I can't speak to everybody on the campus, but as far as I know, that isn't a thing, but I'm not patting people down. I'll leave that to the security guard.
There we go.
Yeah. Yeah. And I got mixed feelings about that anyway. I'm not sure how if I would make me feel more safe or less safe. I guess it just depends on who's carrying and what they're doing. Okay. Yeah, definitely someone well trained. Anybody
It would
know?
be interesting too to see what happens though with this set of bills that have been introduced in Oregon.
Yeah, why don't you
them
talk
to look
about that?
out. Well, just like the safe school package that was introduced, a series of bills
Mhm.
just a week ago.
Mm.
So it'd be interesting to know, what schools will have to do in the future if any of those get passed. So,
Yeah, and a have to actually eliminates a lot of the conversation because there's not really much to discuss at that point. It's do or don't do. Um, but yeah, do you know any of the specifics on that, Caroline?
there's, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 7 bills listed. A couple about different security options in terms of school resource officers or even retired officers who are hired on with the schools to do security. A bill about installation of metal detectors, and another one about secure single point of entry at each school. Let's see, different bills about it looks like possibly where to find the money to do these things. So there's a couple of them that it's not really clear what they're trying to do there. But yeah, a few of them based on what I'm reading are to install metal detectors and create limited access and hiring security. So
Cool. Thank you. Thanks for those that shared in the chat. If you have other thoughts, please feel free to contact me. I would appreciate that, to hear what you think would be best in our context. Obviously, resources aren't infinite, and that is also a consideration. We can't just redo the campus to create a single entry point, especially at the Bend campus. Well, that naturally has a single entry point, but I mean, it is sort of a glass door and a little. It's not like we
It
get.
seems like we would have to have something more like a gate system, a fence and a gate at the street sidewalk area. That would be probably the only way at Lowell you could make that work.
Yeah, and then anything that would make it feel safer, like having a gate. Practically speaking, how is that actually helping? Because during cohort time, I mean, even if we had a gate, everybody's driving into campus.
Yeah, you'd have to have somebody at the office and an intercom like they do over at the school where people are hitting a button, someone's letting them in.
Right, but what I'm saying is like at the 9 o'clock hour for morning cohorts, I mean, the gate is pretty much open at that point because the cars and people.
Yeah, you'd have to have somebody out there.
Yeah,
probably.
even that, yeah, and then being able to discern what is good and what is bad. One
Password.
time we did stop an individual who was laying out, and yeah, we really thought that we had somebody on campus that shouldn't be there. They were laying out in the grass. Ended up being a dad of some. It was an embarrassing situation. So, you can't always judge and say, yeah, anyway. All right. Well, yes, the cameras and locked doors, the security person, that is good. Those are definitely things. We may not be able to get it to a place where it's perfect, but definitely a lot safer than what we have right now. So keep the ideas coming. All right, Sarah, you also had a couple questions about the start of next school year, dates, iReady, things like that. You want to lead us off here?
Yeah. Well, I'm a planner, so I'm planning ahead and working on my summer. And nobody can really tell me when school starts next year and when do we have, we have guesses based on what happened this year, but like, when does the first week of school start? When is the first cohort? When are the kids going to have to do iReady? That's probably one of the biggest ones for me, because that's usually like in the summer before school.
Yeah.
And we're going to be traveling right at the end of August.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to figure out if I need to force our plans to get us back by a certain day, or if I can allow our plans to kind of extend. I mean, one of the beauties of the school we do is we have that little bit more flexibility, and I'm not opposed to using it. But a couple of years ago, we had traveled in August, and they assured us the first time we had to be anywhere was that first cohort, the right after Labor Day. And then leading into it, it was like, oh, but you have to do iReady, and oh, but you have to do curriculum pickup, and oh, but you have to do parent meetings. And it turned, I mean, everybody worked with us and it worked out, but it ended up being a nightmare on our side. Like, my poor kids had to do iReady in like one day, and they did horrible on it, and they hated every second of it. And so
Oh.
I'm trying to avoid that, but nobody has any information. Do we have any information about dates yet?
Right, we do, but before, and I don't know what those are, maybe somebody can pull that up, but we have talked about it. But before we move into the dates, I just want to say, if any of these dates conflict with a plan that you already have, please talk with us and we will try to work it out better than get it all done in one day or else. So that hopefully can work. Okay, so we had some hands here. Who's got some dates for next year and iReady and all of that fun stuff?
I have some dates that I can read out, but they're on like my handwritten calendar. Would
Hey,
that be
that's good.
helpful?
Sure.
Okay.
It's better than
So-
dates.
So the first week of work at BCA, this isn't the first week of cohort, it's the first week of work.
Like
It
starting
starts
school. Yeah.
on Monday, August 28th.
Mm-hmm.
And the first week of cohort is the week of Monday, Monday, September 4th. Monday's a Labor Day, but cohort starts on the 5th, which is a Tuesday. And then iReady is going to be available starting, I don't have the specific date yet, but it's going to be June 12th or June 15th. It'll be available. And for students doing, which I'm going to talk about in my breakout, Summer Leap using iReady Next Steps, they'll take it right away when it comes open, because then they'll use that to do their next steps.
Okay, and then they won't be required to take it again in August, right before school?
That's right. So we have the whole summer. Stop me if I'm misspeaking, Ben or Rachel or whoever's here, but students have the whole summer to do their iReady. I mean, you don't have the whole summer to do your iReady. You have to do it within the time before the window closes, but you can start it and complete it in that summer window, and then the second iReady is going to be in December. That's my understanding. If I'm misspeaking, somebody please yell at me.
I like that plan. And if TJ, if you hate that plan, you can say something right now. Oh, wait a minute. We have somebody that hates the plan. Matthew.
So does that mean students participating in Summer Leap will have to do it in May for their end of the school year diagnostic, and then right away in June for their start of the year diagnostic?
Yes, and the reason is that we have to have that end of the year diagnostic to get the 3 data points for the school year. But then because we want the Summer Leap to be relevant to what they know, and we're doing iReady rollover at the end of the school year, they need to redo the diagnostic to get those things assigned. But then that'll work for their summer iReady. So they won't have to do it, but yes, they'll have to do it close together.
So no more July 31st rollover like the last 2 years?
Right, it's the opposite, where the rollover is happening at the end of the school year, and then starting again, I have 2 dates. It's either June 12th or June 15th. We have to get, there's one question. I want them all to start at the same time, and there's one question about if it'll be ready on the 12th, but one of those days, it's a Monday or a Wednesday, it'll the summer programs start and students can take their iReady, Acellus will be rolled over, all of that stuff.
Cool.
Why can they not use the iReady score at the end of the year to just go right into their summer league?
When we roll iReady over, I don't think it maintains those next step data points.
Oh,
So someone would have to go in and manually reassign each of those to all of the students. And again, this isn't an extra iReady assessment. It's just,
moved up.
yeah.
All right, so I'm trying to make sure I'm following. So last year, they used the iReady assessment we took in May for the starting point of LEAP. And then we took the iReady assessment again in August for the new school year. This year, we're flipping it and we're going to have to redo the iReady assessment at the beginning of LEAP, but then we don't have to take it again at the end of the summer. Did I understand that correctly?
That is my current understanding of the plan.
That
Yes.
TJ also endorsed by his silence. So is TJ even in here? I don't think he's here, but anyway, thank you, TJ. Yes, and if that is not correct, we will bring that up here very soon. But no, I actually think that sounds right as well. Okay, any other questions, comments about any?
One more comment on iReady.
Yeah.
One more comment on iReady. Because my next question was going to be, in the last couple of years, we had, I think, 3 weeks, is it, to do the assessment? And we had like 2 of the weeks were in the summer. And it was hard because it's like, we're still trying to summer over here. And, and so my next suggestion was going to be, can we move that into the school year a little bit more, where maybe you have like a week at the summer and then 2 weeks in school. But my kids do leave. So if that's true, I mean, they'll hate me having to do the test twice so fast, but I think that would make starting school better, because they did not like starting school off with, a week or 2 of iReady testing. So
Right.
It also helps out the growth team quite a bit if we're looking at next steps or data from iReady. We don't have to wait for everybody to complete those assessments. We will have them done already. So it also allows growth team to get started sooner. So there's that benefit too.
Mm-hmm. All right. Any other thoughts or comments about anything at all before we get started with our breakout rooms?
That question I had for you earlier, Ben, were you able to figure out the question there on the Wednesday AM?
Oh, TJ
Okay.
is the one that I'm needing to work it out with, and I have not talked to him about that yet. But as soon as I do, I'll just throw it out. The concern is that kindergarten, or it's been communicated that kindergarten over at the Lowell campus is only meeting a few times, and one of those times is not during our Wednesday morning, which is a high school day. So it's kind of difficult because we potentially have high school families that need to be there, but there isn't a K-12 option during that day, is what somebody was told. So we're going to look into that and see what we can see about that. So, all right. Well, any other thoughts on life? So the breakout rooms that we have, there's going to be 2 of them. We've got Jasmine and the office. Jasmine, what is your breakout going to be for today?
Yeah, I'm going to be talking about the summer programs.
Woo, that's exciting. So that was actually convenient. You had it all in your mind right there. Meg, what do we got for the office today?
So for the office, it will just be a Q&A for enrollment. If you need help with anything, you're struggling, question, concern, myself and our register there, as well as I'm sure some other teammates of ours to help you with anything you may need.
Yeah, it cut out a little bit there. I don't know if anybody else had that issue. But just know that the process.
I don't know what's going on with my video.
Oh, okay. The process is that you sign up on the portal to let us know that you're planning on coming back for next year. And then you get to pick your cohort time. And you feel good about that because you have your cohort time. You've let everybody know that you're planning on coming back next year, but that is not the same thing as actually signing up and registering your student for next year. And so if you haven't done the second part, well, certainly if you haven't done the first part, you would need to talk to the office. We want to make sure that you are getting your cohort spot for next year. But the second part, actually enrolling your students so that they are fully enrolled, ready to go for next year. If you haven't done that or not sure if you've done that or what that involves, you want to be connecting with our office staff. I think what we're going to do is we'll have the office just stay here. And that way, any parents that need help don't need to get frustrated that they are lost in cyberspace somewhere trying to find the room. And Jasmine will put her information in the chat if that works, unless the office already gave a different spot, which they did. So
That's okay.
if everybody is okay staying here, we can just get it going. If you accidentally got out there and went to the breakout room, I'm sorry. I brought the confusion. All right, thank you guys very much. And I will stop recording so that we're not just recording everybody trying to get onto Synergy. So how do I stop recording? Yeah. It's one of these buttons.